This is how to train to become immortal. Or at the very least, add another 8 years of strength to your life. For kids all the way to adults who want to move better than they did when they were kids, with strength, skill, and sustainability forever. A 2024 study buried in the depths of the ivory tower showed what we've known this whole time, and intuitively why we train how we do. It's like the scientists who have just now reached the proverbial peak of the mountain, and we've been up here doing handstands all along. The article Sport and Longevity, an observational study of international athletes, took the initiative to show what specific sports correlate to longer life. So which sports allow you to drink from the fountain of youth? In one spin of a butterfly twist, my strength ninja friend. Woo! Now, what I want to make clear is that human longevity, as the article also notes, is influenced by a number of factors. Yet, as we all know, or should know by now, the most significant factor to adding years to your life is physical activity. So what kind of physical activity? That's the point here. Well, after observing 95,210 pieces of data collected from thousands of athletes born between the years of 1862 all the way to 2002 from 183 countries across 44 different sports, here's what they found. Let's start with the worst. Those sports that are negatively associated with lifespan. The first is sumo, for obvious reasons, reducing your life by 9.8 years. And runner-up for reducing the number of years of your life by 5.4 years, volleyball. Now, on the positive side, coming in for second place while adding 8.8 years to your life, gymnastics. Now, don't get confused. Some influencers make dopamine addicting short form videos about this topic with a bunch of triple twisting flips and iron crosses, making you think you have to get to that level, which you do not. And since gymnastics is a very general term, and there are many forms of it, from gymnastica natural to TNT to rhythmic to breakdancing and power moves, I would take this in the broad sense, relating to anything acrobatic in nature. And coming in first place while adding 9 years to your life, pole vaulting. And the years of lifespan do vary based on gender, experience level, and other factors. And before you go grab a 20-foot pole and go hurling yourself into the fountain of youth, I'm going to show you why this is the case, what you can do to implement this for yourself, and how to start training to become immortal, or at least gain a few years of strength, health, and happiness. So first, why do gymnastics and pole vaulting increase your lifespan? Me and my team were talking about this, and I asked, well, what is the common denominator between the top two sports, gymnastics and pole vaulting? Well, there's one specific event that actually connects both of these sports, and that's vaulting. And here's how I've defined vaulting for my students for years before I even knew about this article. Vaulting is propelling your body up and over an obstacle, be it with your hands or with an object like a pole. So this applies to everything from extremely basic box jumps you can start implementing immediately, to learning to vault right on the floor, to the obstacles included in those cool Spartan races, to one of the 6 elements of our Powerbatics training, free run, which you can do at home with a little bit of floor space. So let's break it down even further. In vaulting, there's the rapid acceleration of your body through sprinting into the most dynamic, explosive movement you can produce. Then time in the air, finished with a landing, and followed by nothing. Now, if it's done for sets and reps where you might be jogging back and prepping for the next one, but if it's done at max capacity for higher level moves like advanced vaults or handsprings or flips or power moves even, then you've got at least a 1, 2, even 3 or more minute rest in between. What's very important to this training is the development of skills acquisition. A student shared a video with me from a famous podcast where they mentioned skills as a possible reason for longevity improvements. And I don't know who watches our videos on this channel, but you know we've discussed the importance of specifically skills training for a long time. And this develops one of the most important, if not the most important part of your body, which hardly anyone is talking about, your nervous system. Your brain and neurological system are kept young when they are constantly exposed to new stimuli, and you have to continue to adapt and thus grow. When you're not growing, you're dying. So here you have maximum physical output coupled with new cognitive demands that must be learned. You have the combustion that keeps the fire lit for lifelong strength, skill, and sustainability. Intuitively, this is why I put 25 volts in increasing difficulty through our training, ascending to greater levels just like a video game. And just think about it. Every vault you do adds a day to your life. Here's 6 basic vaults. And please don't mistake videos for instruction. Get good community and coaching, be it with us or otherwise. Also, put your wins and victories in the comments. First, speed safety, where safety means tapping one foot as a beginner assist. Then speed, which is one hand and both legs to the side. Then what we call the spadash, which starts like a speed and then ends with pushing with the second hand behind you. Then the dash, which is feet forward in front of you, both hands pushing behind. And then the Kong safety vault, which is 2 hands and 2 feet up on top of the obstacle and then dropping down. And then a Kong vault, which is blasting with both hands over the obstacle. And again, these can be learned slowly, done on the ground, safely, a little at a time, just like we did at this workshop in France. And then this progresses all the way up to boxes, double vaults, and even adding flips. In addition to those aspects, the sports that correlated to the highest levels of longevity, including gymnastics and pole vaulting, are mixed sports that include a mix of aerobic and anaerobic activity, which results in improved cardiorespiratory health, reduced blood pressure, reduced body weight, and reduced percent body fat, improved insulin sensitivity, improved muscle mass, slower decline in aerobic capacity, higher bone mineral density, protection against sarcopenia, falling, and as I've already mentioned specifically, neuromuscular function, where I emphasize the neurological and brain improvements through this kind of training. And you're probably aware, but the term longevity has recently become all the rage, and people are listening to every guru selling every gizmo, gadget, and gooey concoction to try to add more to their lifespan. And if you know me by now, you know I haven't used the word specifically longevity, but rather sustainability for a long time now. Basically, it's a synonym. In fact, you'll notice I've been using the alliteration strength, skill, and sustainability for a tagline for our gym and online training for years. And there's a special emphasis that I give to sustainability. It's the maintaining of advanced levels of strength and skill for life. So this is a little different than the folks in the blue zones living into their hundreds with gardening and 10,000 steps of walking every day, which is awesome, by the way, and aspects of that should be part of our everyday life. And it's definitely nothing like the sun-fearing longevity vampires, but rather, I mean maintaining very high, even what some would call superhuman levels of strength and skill through sustainable training. Like Venny, over 55 sun laps, and before training with us, had 5 hip surgeries, 4 knee surgeries, a spine fusion, and self-described as soft, but now doing 1-arm pull-ups, muscle-ups, human flags, and continuing to show off at the Ninja Warrior parks doing giants and backflips. And all kinds of vaults. And like Patrick, over 61 sun laps, and before training with us had 2 Achilles tears, shoulder injuries, and now doing muscle ups, handstands, vaults, and more. And there's also a lady who's relatively famous for being in her 80s and still competing in gymnastics. And then there's the Shaolin monks who look like they're over 100 doing 1-finger handstands and throwing around 50-pound spears. And like thousands of kids, teens, than adults in the Pacific Rim Athletics universe. But this doesn't even scratch the tip of the iceberg, so subscribe and expect follow-up videos that go into even greater depth. Because listen, this kind of training will reach critical mass and make everyone's lives better, and help us get to 300,000 subs, and apply for training if you'd like. See you in the next video, which is coming up on the screen right now and designed to help you, and in training soon.